So, Luke Cage, episode 3. Who's going to take the weight? Starts out kind of totally non-chronological order. The scenery just kind of goes into the story for this episode. Kind of starts flowing right into the community mourning for Pops. There's newscasts about him in the local area because he was that big of a person. Many people are reminiscing about how he influenced him, what's going to happen now to Pops. And yeah, it's quite sad trying to see everybody. They don't know what to do in a sense because it's loss of this member, and everybody's trying to scramble to figure out what to do. Luke's looking for plans about what to do, but it seems like a fella named, I think that's Shades, his name is, slowly is going to fall into the part of Pops for the rest of the show. We'll see. There's a hit on Cotton's guns there, and it kind of starts off a little concern for Cotton. During the funeral prep for Pops there, Luke Cage is trying to discuss terms about how to pay for it, and Cottonmouth comes on in and says, there was supposed to be a parlay, my word was bond, whoever, the feller who killed Pops has been dealt with, but Luke wasn't having any of it and says he's just beginning, and then Cotton kind of laughs at him, not thinking Luke's just a regular old black dude on streets in Hell's Kitchen. Luke goes back to Pops and starts a plan, trying to figure out how am I going to take out Cotton, because you just can't take out Cotton, but he can take out all the things out around him. Eventually we go to a scene where Misty tries to convince Chico to snitch, but he ain't having that. You know what he says? The streets will handle it. Damn right. What was the name of the last episode? Was it the Code of the Streets? Code of the Streets still in effect. So eventually, after that, Luke talks to Chico and about Cottonmouth and his operations. And he starts developing more of a plan about taking out his safe houses for cash drops, and it works. Eventually, Cottonmouth is forced to do his Fort Knox plans, where he consolidates all his money into one location that's heavily fortified, armed, and guarded. We eventually get into a conversation where Misty has more influence about how Pop it was so influential in this neighborhood that Misty recalls her youth as college basketball, and how all the conversations and watching all those games kind of molded her into the better player to what she was doing, and it was pretty interesting. I kind of like Pops is a huge player in this. Or he was. A moment for Pops. Yeah. So then we get to Luke Cage, and all I have to say is he puts the headphones on, and then, oh, I see your Wu-Tang sword. Can it defeat mine? And then Wu-Tang, I don't even know what the song is, but he just goes on in there with that beat, emulating just raw power of Luke Cage, just smashing through Fort Knox. And just walking through all the guards, the reinforcements, nothing. He's like Luke Cage. He's invulnerable. He's got super strength. He's Power Man. Oh man. And because of it, Misty and Raphael, the two detectives there, they have talks about the morality of it. Raphael's like, yeah, I'm glad this guy just did a year's worth of work in one night all by himself. Yeah, and Misty's like, no, you can't have vigilantes, otherwise it'd be anarchy and chaos and blah, 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 the whole order. The whole Civil War conversation kind of thing going on there. Because this universe is connected with the Marvel movies. And eventually, Raphael gets a phone call from Chico, and Chico wants to testify, and so Chico goes, Chico gets picked up by Raphael and tells him, yeah, I'm going to testify. And that's when we discover that Raphael is in fact working for Cottonmouth. Oh, did I just spoil that if you haven't watched this? Well, it's too bad. Yeah, it was it was kind of a shocking moment, but immediately after he was killing Chico, itchy ear, itchy ear, itchy ear, he just casually just goes about eating his takeout meal that he had in the car with him when he was going to go meet Chico. Raphael, he's a scumbag. You just, you know what? All through it, I kind of like suspected like that guy's kind of douchey, because you had to kind of like your hero cop. Well, we haven't seen much of the corrupt cops yet, and then he was just right in her face, and you kind of did have a feeling that Raphael was a kind of a scumbag there. So after all of that, Luke actually starts redistributing the money. He goes, takes it over to the old feller, that the chess player that's knows Pops, and he actually talks about a little bit more like how he met Pops, which was through playing chess actually at the park. Eventually, Pops was too busy, so he started playing chess over at the barber shop, which was how influential Pops was. And this is a fellow that I'm thinking he's going to be filling the role for Pops for the rest of the season for this. So he redistributes the money, gives it so that the barbershop has hope of still being part of the community, the Switzerland as Pops would have called it there. Nobody, violence, the swear jar, this whole thing. Kind of want to turn the swear jar thing into a drinking game for you guys. It's like every time somebody swears, you gotta take a drink, because that's your toll to pay for the swear jar. And eventually, Luke knows that his landlady, the Asian restaurant owner, is struggling too. So he actually goes and gives her a bunch of money and says no questions asked. And then all of a sudden, boom! Building across the road, we see Cottonmouth pull out a. It looked like an anti-aircraft rocket launcher, and blow his cage up. And that's where the credits roll. So the shit is hitting the fan. The shit hit the fan. Oh. That crap. I just swore. Swear jar. So like I said in my review episode 2, it looks like the crap's going to hit the fan, and just it did. Like Luke Cage went in and took out Fort Knox with his plan, which is you kind of predicted, and you were hoping it was going to happen, and you were hoping it was going to be awesome, and it was awesome. But now with what Cottonmouth is, we're at the end of episode 3 there, and blows up Luke Cage in the restaurant. I'm pretty sure the nice Asian lady was blown up too. So yeah, this is another really positive episode. I actually had to re-watch this one. I smoked a little too much marijuanas, and it's kind of infecting my thoughts of it. And I did review it, and I just wasn't happy with it. Now we're just rambling. We're probably just going to cut that out. Anyways, yeah. Luke Cage. Next episode will be Step in the Arena. Marvel's Luke Cage. It's awesome. See you next episode. I am Jay, leader of ChannelJ.TV. A moment for Pops.